What's up, Virgo? Welcome back. So, I'm Jet, and thank you so much for coming and spending some time with me. We are going to look to see what is coming up for you. But if you're new, go ahead and subscribe, leave a comment, give me a little like, because that's how we get the message out. And if you really feel like you're getting something from this message, that's the best way to contribute. So, if you want to have an extended read for this, it is available on Patreon. All of the extended reads are going to be available. So that's why it's important for you to know your sun, your moon, and your rising. And if you don't know that, I have a video on that as well. And as an added bonus for the first 20 people who join Patreon, I'm going to be doing a tarot natal chart reading, which is basically I go in and you can ask up to 3 questions and we can see, what your specific planetary alignment as well as channeling messages from universe in order to find out the answer for you. So I'm so excited. But Virgo, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. Universe, I connect with you in the deepest and most gracious way. Please channel a message for Virgo for their highest vibrational good only, bringing them forth, giving them peace, giving them a roadmap, and giving them love. Got it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Virgo, let's get into it. What's coming up for you today? Ooh, a double whammy right here. Okay, first card. The High Priestess in reverse. Now, Virgo, you are a mixture of being magical and, I was going to say methodical, but let's say organized, very strategic, magical and strategic. So, where you'll see a Pisces who just flows with the energy, you have perfected your craft, you have studied, you have analyzed all of these principles, energetically speaking. So, and I'm feeling this reversed energy from you, which could indicate that there's some self-work that needs to be done. And I know that sometimes it can be validating for what's happening on the outside to, thank you, universe, what's happening on the outside to validate us. But this message is saying, go inside. Go inside and work on yourself. There's some self-care that needs to happen. There's some self-healing that's a little bit out of alignment for you. The Tower. So you're having this feeling lately of just things not working out, things falling apart. And I wouldn't say it is an external thing. It is an internal thing. It is just strongly, based upon your feelings. And you just are trying to get your footing and your hold on how everything is, and also, going on a journey and doing the work. Everything in life is a journey, okay? There is nothing that we can possibly do in our life that is not a journey, Virgo. And I think for you, you plan things out strategically over and over again. You make adjustments. You will make the decision that you feel like is best. And when things are thrown off because of something that you have to work on internally, I think you might take that as a failure or as a difficulty. But that's not bad at all. Working on inside, it's interesting. Like, sometimes we're able to manifest what we truly want externally because we go internally. And it's a little bit difficult for you to do that, Virgo, because you're not going to get that positive reinforcement. But you are well, as a mutable sign with the endings, wrapping something up. I'm getting that you are getting to the end of something, some type of something. It's just sitting me like a soul mission. Like, I am at the end of this thing and I'm ready to move on. And sometimes when something is a soul mission, it is connected to everything, meaning your love, your career, your family, all of these things. And the World card in reverse. Quite a few cards in reverse here. So this is an expansion internally. You, at the end of this, are going to see the world from a different lens. But it's saying, sip steam. It's saying you got to go internal. And you got to find this information internally. So if you're into something like sacred geometry, pay attention to the geometric patterns that are around you, because that will be helpful for you. You like plans, you like analyzing. This would be kind of one way to help you through this time of understanding the messages. But can you, Virgo, sense your way through it? You know what works by repetition, by patterns, by analyzing, but can you sense your way through this? Of course you can. But how does it feel? The Ace of Wands, a great awakening, a great sense of enlightenment. You are moving on from whatever path this is that you've been at. I want to say your whole life, because Virgo, you do things based off of long and steady. Long and steady, long and steady. You'll do something for a long time, very, very detailed. Will be apprehensive about moving on to something else, but you are at the end of whatever that stage in life was for you. And it's time for you, Virgo, to move on to something else, something new, something better. But it's working on your feelings. It's working on not letting those little, thank you, universe, not letting those little kind of habits or those little, when you feel something, you can feel like it I don't say it hurts so much, but it's like this nagging incessant and you feel like you have to let it out externally to let it out, but it might be just a journey for you internally. And that could be just kind of bumping up against the relationships you're having with people, or you might feel like people just don't understand what's right and wrong, and you're not doing it because it makes you happy, or you want to do it, or you want to feel bad. You just are trying to, help them understand what's right or wrong. It just ethically doesn't feel right to you. And you constantly are feeling like you are ducking and dodging, these opposing thoughts, these opposing people, these, just opposition to you energetically. Because Virgo, you don't want to be sad. You don't want to be upset. You don't want to be angry. You want to enjoy things. You want to be in your patterns. You just want things to be in alignment. And you see so many reasons of why things are not aligned in the way that it could be for its best use. But I'm saying, thank you, universe, for, taking a step outside that perspective, and it's not because you did something wrong or something is bad or anything. It's just, I feel it from you. I feel this sense of just justice is not being done. And it's causing you so much internal headache. It's causing you so much stress, especially when you feel like you are the one suffering and someone else is kind of benefiting or not suffering, or, living in this kind of fantasy world, when you're like, look, man, this is what's really going on right now. And the Ace of Cups. So just energetically, we got to get you into alignment, Virgo, because it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough for you right now. It's kind of tough emotionally. And you're receiving a message from universe, from source energy, that you need to go internally. You need to meditate. You need to just do some mindfulness work, whatever that is for you, because this is not healthy for your body. It is not healthy for your spirit. And you're ready to move on to another path. You're ready. Your soul is ready. Your soul is so ready to move on to something else, to something different, to something new. You just can't take this toxicity anymore. You're not having fun, by the way. You know, you're nowhere near the fun loving person that you can be, because that's what you want to be. You know, no one wants to be upset. No one wants to not have a good time with the people they care for and that they love. But that's the energy that seems to be popping out, Virgo. That you got to get out of this toxic energy, and sometimes that means you got to let people go. As soon as I said that, let people go, you got to let go of that vision of that group of people, whether that is romance, friendship, life. You know, you got to let go of that. You're holding on. Like, let me tell you something about you, Virgo. When you have a vision, thank you, universe. When you have a vision of something, you will work day in and day out. You're not lazy whatsoever. You will work day in and day out to get it somewhere. But this is a point where you have to pay attention to what is working and what is not working. And this path that you have worked so hard to be on is not working. Now, if it's something that's bringing you happiness, thank you, universe, then that's not it. You can keep that. You don't have to just kind of like take everything and flip it over. That's not it at all. But there are some certain components that are causing you stress, and you have to let that go. You have to release that into the universe. To me, it's coming up as like a deep-seated trauma that needs healing, that never was able to be addressed, and it's coming out in other ways. And you got to be able to move on and to heal that, whether that is going to therapy, whether that is removing certain obstacles, certain people in your life that are no longer serving you. Whatever that is, Virgo, you have to be loving and compassionate enough with yourself to be able to go on that journey and move forth in, you know, this spirit, in this path. And I think that you are so stuck where you're at because it's going to be a ridiculous sense of vulnerability to start this new path, to not have a plan, to trust the internal, because you have faith, but you also are very practical. You're practical in that you did the work and you understand the possibility. I'm getting from this card like, you know what, all they need to do is just do this and everything would be so perfect. But consider it, Virgo. Consider the fact that they may never do that. That you see it as one piece of the puzzle, but for them in their life, it might just be like, you know, them doing that one thing is 50 puzzle pieces for them. You gotta let it go, babe. You gotta let it go. You gotta, it doesn't mean that this energy is not gonna be around you. It just means that release it to the universe and let something bigger and better and more aligned with you come along. I think you feel an apprehension to making these changes financially, or just your ultimate sense of security. You don't feel supported in those around you, and you are not feeling balanced in justice. It just doesn't feel fair. There's a sense of fairness that is lacking in this scenario, in this situation. And you have fear and you have judgment. You're feeling like, is this my fault that this is happening? Did I do something wrong to make this happen? No, my love, you did nothing wrong. You have to let go and you have to release certain things into the universe. And you have to have this new sense of romance, honestly, come into your life. The universe wants to bring you that. And romance could be in multiple things, because this is a reading for whatever it applies to. It could be your sun, your moon, you know, your rising. It could be your Venus. So romance comes in various ways, and you are blocking yourself because this deep trauma, that's what's coming up for me. This deep trauma that has been hidden so long, that you've built, you know, a sense of protection and built layers on top of, it's coming to the surface, and you have to deal with it. And dealing with it means getting help. Like, you can go to a therapist, you can disconnect from stressful situations, but sometimes, Virgo, I feel like you make things harder for yourself than they need to be. Like, you are feeling, you know, like if you don't have to work hard at it, you don't validate it as much. That's why you're trying to force this thing. But the universe just wants to love you, just wants to shower you, just wants to give you abundance. There's lessons, there's things that we will always be learning, you know, we're all going to have to face that. But the universe doesn't get excited by causing you pain or dissonance. So you're getting the sensation of having to repeat things over and over and over and over again. When it's really, you know, maybe that repetition was helpful for a little bit, but now you're gone. You're gone. You have to move on from that sensation, from that feeling, from all of that to your next evolutionary place, your next evolutionary skill, your next evolutionary just situation as a whole. And I give a disclaimer that I read for the highest vibrational good. So that doesn't mean I'm reading to make you feel bad or make you think something's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. This is normal. We all feel this from time to time. But what I'm trying to do is give you a roadmap or give you just an objective lens on what's going on so that you can get to another place. Because if you go internal and you do this work, Virgo, it ain't nothing but a thing. You're talking about building something 10 times stronger than what it is now, but your vision is limited based off of how things were in your past. And you got to have a new sense of reality here. You got to have a new sense of connectedness into the universe, into, thank you, source energy. All of these things, a new way of thinking. That's exactly what came up. Just work on it. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to have like a new way of thinking or a new way of approaching life. You know, new energy, new love. But healing trauma is tough because for you, Virgo, trauma is something that not only keeps you up at night, thank you, universe. Okay, we'll wait on the message, my bad. Trauma is not something that just keeps you up at night. It is something that is directly in line with your mental health. And there's a fear of bringing up things in the past because partially you will forget them for your own safety. Things that hurt you to the core, you never forget, but you push them down deeply and then you hold on to this unconscious resentment behind it. Whereas the universe is telling you to dig down deep, okay, and shatter all that stuff. Remove all of that stuff that has been there, that has been taking up space, that is preventing you from having your love, preventing you from having the life that you truly want. To be invigorated by life, to feel supported by life, to feel a connectedness towards this life. So if you're going through anything particularly tough at this moment, it's not, you know, because you can't get to the other side or that this is the end of you. No, not at all. This is not the end at all. This is just one piece of the puzzle for you. And you can make it to the other side. No worries there. No worries at all. You can make it to the other side. Not a problem. And let's just see if there's anything. What are the spirit guides saying for you, Virgo, in this moment? Universe, source energy. Connect to the spirit guides for Virgo to give them a message, to help them, to guide them, to love them, to see them through this path. Whatever that message is, to be received with the greatest and highest vibrational good. So there's this feeling that your guides are sending, like you got to find a way to balance, you know, you need some balance. You're not in balance right now. And I'm getting it's like a work in your home life is out of balance, and someone really hurt you a long time ago. Someone you loved, and I don't even know if it was in a malicious way. The origins is this person, this situation that hurt you to your deepest core, and you've never forgotten it, you know? Think about it. Take a moment right now. What is that situation? Let it come to the front of your mind. Okay, that's what it is. And everything has been building up, you know, kind of like a bandage or a fortress around your heart, around your sense of feelings, because the feelings are out of whack right now. Out of alignment is a good way to put it. Because of that. So your tenderheartedness, your loving nature, you know, your ability to love someone consistently, thoroughly, show up each and every day, and really just, you're a sweetheart, Virgo. I mean, really, you're really, really a sweetheart. And your alignment with this energy that hurt you deeply, hurt you in a way that you could not even comprehend, you could not even know how to fix, and you did your best coming out of it. But it's like, it's even bringing like almost a tear to my eyes, because you were not bad, mean, any of these things. There was a sense of this innocence in you that existed so strongly and so pure and so excited. Like, there's a feeling of you that knows that if you are able to have that fresh perspective and your work ethic, that there was nothing that would limit you. But you started to build obstacles for yourself because you never healed this. This is something that needs to be healed. This is something that needs to be let go. This is something that you need to move on vibrationally from. And it can take a lot of work, a lot of self-care work. I mean, try therapy. There's nothing wrong with that. Try, you know, that connectedness with the people that are important to you that you have in your life now. Try journaling, which I always say is the best friend who doesn't bring up your issues the next day. Try these things. Try meditating. Try going into nature. You know, try growing something, plants, herbs, something that gives your soul an opportunity to objectively, from the outside looking in, see something grow, see a leaf fall, you know, see something that may die, see something come back to life, see something that is abundant in its harvest. And this will, you know, kind of give you a new perspective of how to look at this thing. Because let me tell you, this is your secret. Both secret in what you have internally, secret in the unconscious, but honestly, this is your secret to success. Because what you understand thoroughly, Virgo, especially this pain, you will build something useful. You are all about usefulness that will help so many other people. But it only starts by going internal, going in this journey and healing this. It's going to take something like 6 months healing this thing. You can do it. You can find that answer and be very nurturing towards your thoughts. Meaning, as soon as there's a feeling that comes up that this isn't right, this isn't right, this isn't right, and it's not right because there's something wrong with it, but this isn't right because, you know, you want to continue on the patterns that you know, be nurturing. Does this make me feel good overall? Has this thought, this pattern, this understanding, is it setting me free, or is it limiting me in my relationships, how I approach things? And you might feel like this is the right way to do it, even though I'm getting this pushback. But look at it from the perspective of, I'm just going to do what is good for my soul right now. And I'm going to, you know, here's your new obstacle. I'm going to push against the ego, because as they say, you know, awakening and enlightenment is the greatest failure of the ego. Because the ego wants to be in this constant state of opposition wants to be in this constant power struggle, wants to give you the instant validation when you succumb to things that aren't the best for you but make you feel like you have power, false senses of power. That is the ego. But internally, the soul and who you are in your life mission, that right there is something that you are going through, and you are going on that path and that journey, and you can do it. If anyone can push back up against something, like boom, and take your time at it too. That's why I said 6 months. Take your time, be consistent, do something a little bit every day. It is you, Virgo. Pisces can't do this. Cancer can't do this. Gemini cannot do this. You can, Virgo. You can push against something back because that is your motivator. So instead of being so in touch with the ego, which is sending you like, ooh, and has your feelings just fucked up, instead, connect with your greatest sense of purpose. Be ready to move on from this. And how do you move on? You move on by doing the hard work. Now I'm speaking your language. You move on by being consistent. Now I'm speaking your language. You move on by deciding what your plan is, okay? And going on that path. And no matter what comes up, you're going to get there, a closer sense of self. And you have to fight the ego. Instead of fighting people outside of you, fight the ego internally so that you can get to that next page, that next path in your experience, in your existence, in your life. Because there's this love that exists inside of you. When I picked up that Six of Cups, I felt how much you just wanted to love. I felt that there was a time where love was so clear cut for you, and something damaged you so greatly that you had to build these walls up, or you needed systems and plans in place to prevent that from happening again. But then by doing that, you also prevented the opportunity of something more to come into your life. You prevented the opportunity for you to move on from this healing experience, because the origins of you doing that is the pain. If you resolve the pain, all of that falls down. But that can also be your sense of self too. Having to look at yourself in a new way, having to have a new path, having to have a new motion forward can be very scary. It can be more scary than going internal. I have no doubt that you can go internal, but having to look at life and look at how this thing that you built to respond towards hurt has caused some setbacks in your life, that's a very scary feeling. It's a very sad feeling. It's a feeling of, well, it's all my fault. And that's not it at all. It's not about it's your fault. It's just saying, as humans, we do the best that we can given life, especially when you're younger. And as you get older, then you undo all that shit. And then you go to like a higher experience, a higher vibrational experience. But, have compassion towards yourself while you're unraveling these things and letting things go. It's okay, it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have done everything perfect. You don't have to have everything in this perfect kind of, surrounding and understanding. Who you are is enough. Who you are is more than enough. And it is such a beautiful blessing to share in this experience with you, Virgo, but for you to go on this. There's beauty in all of this pain. There's enlightenment and understanding in everything that goes on here. Never doubt that. Never doubt that everything you've gone through is leading you to something bigger, better, badass, and all of that energy. So like I said, this is not negative. This is not a bad thing. This is your cocooning, you're transforming, you're turning into something to your next level, and you have to face all of these things that are coming up. So if you feel like you need more help, you need individual help, you can reach out to me, aquagoddesstarot@gmail.com, and I can do a private reading for you. Now, if you're a part of the first 20 people to join Patreon, I will do that complimentary just as a thank you. I really appreciate that. What we're going to do now is we're going to go into the extended read for this. And this is all about how to get you to the other side. What can you do? We already know what's going on, but what can we do to get you to the other side, and how much time is it going to take? And that's how I like to do the extended reads, as here's actually a plan, a roadmap, which you like, to get you to the other side. And it is very positive and uplifting and just moving you on to the next path. And if you feel like you need something more, I will look at all your planetary alignment, and I will look at these various things, and I will channel messages for you, and we will have a conversation to help you through this. But you're going to make it through, whether you seek out help or you do it within yourself. I trust that you will get to the other side. I really appreciate the support. If something in this message resonated with you, the way to help me is to subscribe to the channel, to like the content, and to leave a comment, even if it's an emoji. That's how YouTube works. That's how to get the message out there, by interacting with the video. And icing on the cake, the little cupcake, is to share the message if you feel like this really, really resonated with you. And of course, reach out to me personally if you need a private reading, or join Patreon and take advantage of that offer. Yeah, so you have access to all the extended reads. But I'm excited to jump in to see what you gonna do, boo. We gonna get you to that rubs palms next level. But I cannot wait until next time. I got you, boo. No worries.